everybody. It's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I'm here to give you all my 2 cents on the Real World Homecoming. I guess this is the LA situation. You all have been asking me to watch this, and I've been wanting to watch it, and I have been procrastinating. I finally watched it, and I'm here for it. This is going to be a good season. It's going to be some mess. And hey Eric, how you doing? I only watched episode 1. I know it's challenge night. I know it's Survivor night. So we're going to make this quick so we can go ahead and watch the challenge and Survivor. And if you're watching this on the repeat, I'm going to review episodes 2. And if there's an episode 3 out there, that'll be on Friday night after I do the challenge All Stars. But I wanted to get episode 1 out the way because I'm here to talk about what I saw go on episode 1, and it was a lot of bullshit. If you ask me, Eric, you said it was a mess. Episode 1 was a mess, and I don't know what side of the fence my opinion is gonna fall on, but I'm gonna give y'all my opinion. So they're back in LA. What is that? Venice Beach. The exact same house. The renovations to that house is amazing. Hey Michelle, I see you out in the chat. The renovations to that LA house look amazing. It's definitely not back in the 90s anymore. The first person coming up the sidewalk is Tammy. Tammy is probably, for my generation, one of the most famous to come out of Real World. Like, I don't recall anybody else outside of the people who've done the challenge that I recall from the Real World. And I always liked Tammy. When Tammy was on, what they said, 1993, y'all, that made me feel old. That made me feel old. Now, mind you, Real World 2, which was LA, was my first season of the Real World. I didn't really watch season 1 in New York. So I always liked Tammy. I liked the Real World back then when it was about people who had a talent, people who had ambitions. Before Instagram was popping, it wasn't about people gaining followers. It was really real life people sharing their life. So Tammy comes up first. I believe I'm just going to say she's the most popular that I can recall of the Real World people from that time. And, she was reminiscing. She was talking about, she didn't get emotional. Some people came in the house crying. I was like, Tammy, what the hell y'all crying for? But I ain't in their shoes, so I don't know what it's like to come back into something. What they say, 28 years? Like, I really felt old. But y'all, if y'all watch me, y'all know I'm in my 40s, so it is what it is. In 1993, I think I was late middle school, freshman in high school, 13, 14. So one thing I had to do when I was watching this is I had to put on my 40-year-old hat, because when you watch that, because this whole episode was about the Tammy situation, so we just gonna get into it. When you watch that Tammy Blanket situation as a teenager, and then you look at it again at 40, it hits you in a totally different way. Now, it don't hit the way I felt like it should have hit back then, but we're also in a different climate. But let's get into it. So Tammy came in the house first. Next was John. I saw on Google, y'all know I'm always looking at Google for the tea. They said John is 47 and still a virgin. Now, I ain't mad at you. That's your religious belief. I'm just praying John go ahead and find him a wife. That's just amazing to me, to be 47 and still a virgin. But that's his business. That's his business. And God bless you. I ain't gonna say it's odd, but let me move on from that comment. So John came in the house. We learned that at least John and Tammy have each other's phone numbers and they text back and forth, which to me is strange. I'm like, of all the people Tammy kept in contact with John, he seemed like the one she would have the least in common with, but It is what it is. Okay, who came in next? It was Beth Ass came in next. And for whatever reason, Beth don't recall why don't nobody like her. And I'm like, girl, ain't nobody like you on the real world. Ain't nobody like your ass on the challenge. I don't know what take you so long to figure out you are an unlikable person. But one thing I'm gonna say about Beth ass look good. Now I'm mad as two Beths, and I really had to put on my thinking cap because I was like, where that second Beth come from? But it's two Beths, so now I gotta remember to call one of them a, and the other one gonna be challenge Beth, and one gonna be the lesbian Beth. But is she really a lesbian? I'm telling you, they done taught me some shit this first episode. Who came in after her? Irene, who was a cop. I'm telling you, when you 13, 14, I didn't even remember that the Rodney King was going on around the same time as the Real World, because mind you, at 13, I'm not into the news the way I'm into it now. So whatever was probably going on in the world, I'm not really registering how probably hard it was for Irene to put herself out there as a white woman police officer in LA. That was a lot for her. Now, mind you, I'm gonna read Irene in a minute. She's still gonna catch these reads. But now at 40, I was like, damn, that was a lot to put herself out there on television like that. Because a lot of, we talk facts on my channel all the time. A lot of people aren't here for the police, right? The LA riots were back then. Like, it didn't register to me as a teenager, but now I'm like, well, damn, Irene really did put herself out there. And then who came in last was David. Now, mind you, Tammy talking all this shit. When I see David, I ain't gonna hug his ass. It's gonna be, hey, ain't no hard feelings. As soon as Tammy saw his ass, she hugged him. All I wanted this episode was closure. I wanted them, not even if they reconcile, I wanted to be closure. Now, mind you, y'all can tell me in the comments. I only watched episode 1. I still got to watch episode 2. And I don't know what day of week they put the new episodes on. So it might be an episode 3 up there. But I'm sad they didn't get the closure that they needed. But let's go get into it. Let's go ahead and bring the other two in there. Glenn, I don't recall Glenn being in the house. Whoever Glenn is back in 1993, he don't look shit like the Glenn of 2021. But that's aging. I probably don't look like the same Angie. I feel like I do look like the same Angie. The only difference is back in the 90s, natural hair wasn't in. Everybody had a perm. Black people. We all had us some perms. That's probably the only thing that's different about me is I'm into my natural hair, but this ain't about me. So I don't recall Glenn. I don't remember any issues with him. I do remember the lesbian Beth, because I remember her coming into that house with that shirt that says, what did it say? I'm not a lesbian, but my girlfriend is. I remember that shirt from back in the day. Now this time she done came in the house saying, I'm not straight, but my husband is. And then she still identifies as a lesbian. Look, I'm going to let you identify however you want to identify. I'm going to let you be sexually fluid however you want to flow. It ain't none of my business. It just gets that confused me. That confused me because I thought the whole purpose of being a lesbian is to not be attracted to men. But ain't none of my business, girl. She got a husband. She done had this husband for 18 years, a lot of beautiful children. She living out in Hawaii doing her thing. Go Beth A, whatever her name is. So I forgot all the other bullshit they talked about in the house. Let's just jump to the bed situation because that's what we want to hear my opinion about. So they do a lot of la dinners, spending the night, making coffee, whatever. They get a message on the TV screen. Come look at David drag Tammy down the hallway in a blanket, naked, whatever. Okay, now let's talk about 14-year-old Angie when I first watched it. When I first watched it, I did see it as a situation that was not that serious. Like, y'all really kicked him out the house. It was a joke. He was playing around. You know, like David said, everybody was laughing. I was hoping that the adult women could come and say we took it too far. That's what I was hoping would come. But Tammy opened the conversation and she explained herself. They showed the flashbacks. I remember Tammy got her teeth wire closed, and she could only drink. And I knew Tammy on the show always was exercising and wanted to lose weight, but I did not know she had body dysmorphia. And that is a situation where people look at themselves and they see their body differently. It ain't no joke. I just joke with my friends. Y'all know, if y'all don't know by now, I'm crazy. I used to tell people I see my body differently too, because as you can see, I'm a plus size woman. But when I look in the mirror, I be like thinking I look smaller. I'm a fool. I be thinking I look smaller than what I am until I see the pictures and I be like, girl, take your ass to the gym. But this ain't got shit to do with me. So when Tammy explained that and she was like, when you pulled those covers off of me, I was mortified because I'm like, the world is gonna see all my fat and wasn't comfortable in my body. Mind you, she's 20 years old, so you know you're not as mature. And what else did Tammy say? Because she said something else that meant a lot to me. She talked about her laughter, nervous laughter. She was like, yes, I was laughing because it was an awkward situation. And you could, when you look back at it, especially 40-year-old Angie, I'm like, yes, Tammy is laughing. But the entire time she's laughing, she's also screaming, no, stop. Don't pull that blanket off of me. And as I look at it again as a 40-year-old, I could see the escalation. Like it started off in the bedroom. David, don't pull the blanket off of me. I ain't got no clothes on. Leave me alone. And everybody joking, laughing. Even John tugged at the blanket a little bit. I could see it was a joke. I want to know how it got out. How did Tammy get on the ground in the hallway? That's footage we never saw. We saw it go from the bed, and then we saw it go on the ground in the hallway. And when she's on the ground in the hallway, she's like really screaming, stop. I don't have any clothes on. You can see Bev rolling her body on top of her to shield her. John is doing his wrestling count. Everyone is looking, everyone is laughing. It wasn't a joke. At some point in time, no matter if you feel like it's a joking situation or not, when a woman says stop, you have to stop. And I felt like maybe if the situation would have stopped in the bedroom, like we tugging on the blanket and everybody's laughing, and then, okay, it's done, it's over with. Haha, that was a funny moment. We leave Tammy alone. You said you think he pulled her out of the bed. Some kind of way she got out of that bed. I don't remember. They didn't show it. But once you see her on the ground and you actually pull the cover off of her and see that she's naked, like I think she had a bra on, but she had no panties on. Why didn't you just give her the blanket back? It's so many what ifs in that moment. But at the end of the day, David, you were wrong. I understand in the moment, you was like, everybody was laughing. It was a joke. I mean no harm by it. I see that side of the coin. But after this woman just told you about her body dysmorphia, how uncomfortable she was, that she was laughing out of awkwardness. At that moment in time, as a 50-year-old man with a grown ass daughter who is probably the same age as Tammy was back then, if you can't understand that, and because I felt like David just wanted to be right. He wanted to be vindicated. He wanted somebody to clear him of all of his wrongs. And instead of being understanding and apologizing for your part in it, you made yourself, David, look 100 times worse. Because this woman is telling you how she felt. And I don't know if it was tricky editing or not. It didn't look like tricky editing. You're continuously laughing like, ha, yeah, that shit was funny. That shit hurt me. That shit hurt me because I'm like, he just want to be right. He just wants somebody to clear him of his wrongs. Because, okay, yeah, David, you lost a lot of job opportunities. You lost a lot of stuff that I felt like in the time you should not have. But for you not to come back 20-something years later, see it, and still be laughing like you, that same 22-year-old, that shit show that you have no growth, you have no maturity. And it does make me kind of side-eye you like, did you really do this shit on purpose? Was this really a joke? Because you still can't see the error of your ways. You can't even apologize and say, Tammy, at the time, it was only a joke for me. Everybody was laughing. I didn't have no ill intent. I didn't know you were going through all of that. I apologize. It could not hurt you to just apologize and dead the shit. I would have had a lot of respect for you if you would have apologized. But instead, you on the camera talking about, see, look, everybody was laughing. Wait, look, John, you were laughing. You were doing the wrestling thing. And then you're still laughing in the moment. I'm like, something's wrong with you. Because let's flip the script. What if it was your daughter? She went into the real world house today. And she told some man she was naked under a blanket. And he still pulled a blanket off of her after she repeatedly said, stop. How would you feel towards that man if he did that shit to your daughter? Okay, David. Let's see. The situation changes all the time. I felt bad for her when I watched a few months ago, but I have a totally different perspective knowing about her body dysmorphia. I do. It don't even have anything to do with the body dysmorphia. Tammy didn't even have to say that. All Tammy had to say was, in the moment, look, let me tell you, how many people in the house? 7, 6, I don't recall. I don't care how many, everybody else from Beth, Irene, John, the blonde hair boy, I didn't forgot his name because he didn't show up. Dominic, he didn't show up neither. All of them were laughing. I can't account for why they were laughing. But Tammy, the person that you did it to, just explained to you that her laughter was out of awkwardness. So if the person, I don't give a fuck what anybody else in the house was doing. David, the person that you did it to, told you that it was an awkward moment. She was uncomfortable. She did not appreciate it. All you had to do was apologize. That's all you have to do, and the situation would be dead. Now, Tammy did tell him, I'm going to give you a pass. He didn't like being told that I get a pass. I wasn't mad at it because Tammy was telling you, look, you didn't know what was going on in my brain at the time. I didn't know how to explain it to people at the time. So I'm going to let it pass. I'm going to forgive you. Let's dead it. And by you saying, I don't need your pass, it was a joke. David was still, yep. It was awkward when he started laughing. When David started laughing, I'm hoping that's tricky editing. I don't know. But when he started laughing again, because he asked for them, play it again. And then he's laughing again. I'm like, that's cringy. That's cringy. Ultimately, I end up feeling bad for both of them. Let me tell you why I feel bad for David. Let me go through the comments, then we're going to talk to why I feel bad about David. It's a no-win situation either way. The only reason it's a no-win situation either way is because you can't change David's past. And I don't know how funny he is if he can get out there and start his stand-up all over again. You can't change David's past. That's why it's a no-win for him. But it is a situation where it could have been a win-win situation if they both could have been mature enough to have an adult conversation. They both could have apologized and they both could have moved forward. But he should have agreed. He should apologize instead of laughing. I think of stuff that happened when I was younger that no one should put up with today. I agree. And I mean, the 90s is not 2021. In the 90s, a lot of women didn't have the voice to say things that they can say now because we weren't looked at compassionately. We were told to suck it up. That's a women issue. Get over it. You know. But again, I was a teenager in the 90s, so my level of understanding was totally different back then than it is now as well. But let's get into the two bitches that should have got dragged. And y'all let me know in the comments if these two get dragged in episode 2 or 3. Now, David said one thing this episode that I 100% want to know the answer to. He said, I don't know, he must have said in the confessional, he said, I want to know what happened in that bathroom with Beth and Irene that got you to come out here and call rape. Now, the one thing that my 14-year-old brain and 40-year-old brain do not see is rape. I ain't see it nowhere then, and I ain't see it nowhere now. And that shit is what fucked David's career and life up. You can't put that word on people. And I'm disappointed in Irene as a police officer calling that situation rape. And what a lot of people, if you ain't never seen white people tears or white women's tears come into action, that was Beth and Irene. That was Beth and Irene. I don't know what they said to Tammy in that bathroom, but I guarantee you, if Tammy would have went in that bathroom alone and came out, she probably would have came out the bathroom and cussed David all the way out. She would have cussed him all the way out. And she probably would have moved on. Some kind of way, it went from a horrible situation, wrong. It was wrong. I ain't gonna never say David was right for what he did. But it was not rape at all. And it was not a situation where they should have made him feel like they were scared that he would rape them and had to leave the house. Even back then, I wasn't down for David leaving the house because once you accuse a black man to the point where I don't feel safe around you, I feel like you will rape me. This is what rapists do. This laughing leads up to rape. All that shit Irene was talking about. Bitch, you a police officer. You know the magnitude of the words that you were saying against this man. Beth and Irene owe that man an apology. They do. Because that was fucked up, Beth. That's why people don't fuck with you now. That was fucked up to put that word on that man. I agree. It was a very poor choice of words. You said, but eventually all 3 women said they didn't feel safe at the meeting, but still, this was not a rape situation. No. Where I'm going to say David was right, the only person who can get away with awkward laughter is Tammy, because it happened to her. Tammy was probably seeing everybody else around here laughing. She probably didn't know, like when you in that kind of situation, you don't know how to, not everyone knows how to yell to get people up off of them. And so you awkwardly laughing, just trying to wait for that situation to end. But Beth, Irene, John, Dominic, everybody else was laughing because they thought it was funny. They thought it was a joke. I don't know how Beth went from laughing in the situation, thinking it's a joke, to going into the restroom with Tammy saying, wait, this was rape. No, 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 no. I don't care. I can see Tammy saying, I don't feel comfortable with you staying here. But you also have to remember the situation in the house. I think about 50% of the house at that time didn't even like David. They probably was waiting for a reason to get his ass up out of there. He was already a not well-liked cast member. It wasn't like this was the most popular kid in the house, because I guarantee you, and we can all say hindsight is 2020, but I guarantee you, if John was the one who actually, because John was tugging on that blanket too, and John didn't apologize either. He owed Tammy an apology as well. But if John happened to be the one who pulled the tug and the blanket came off, none of them white women would have said John was trying to rape Tammy. None of them would have tried to kick John out of the house. And if I had a time machine, I would bet my whole paycheck on it. I bet 2 of them motherfuckers on it. They would never say that shit about John, the blonde-headed white boy, Dominic, Glenn. They did that shit to David because it's easier to make a black man look like he's aggressive and to call him something that he's not. And them 2 bitches are the one that owes David an apology. Now, David, you were wrong. We ain't going to excuse that and saying he was right for doing what he did to Tammy, but they escalated the situation to where it ruined his career. I agree. John at 47 years old, he should have stepped up. He's saying, looking at this, I'm really embarrassed at myself. No, John, what you need to do is apologize for your actions in the situation as well. Everyone needs to apologize. That wasn't just a David and Tammy moment. Everyone had an involvement in it. Everyone escalated because, Irene, as a police officer, you telling me you couldn't stop the situation? Beth, you were so threatened. Instead of sitting up here laughing and joking, you couldn't have stopped the situation. Nobody else could have stopped little old David in the situation. No. Irene and Beth, 2 people who did not even like David at that time, took this opportunity as, we can get his ass up out the house. Let's turn on our white lady tears. Let's call rape. That shit has gotten so many black men fucked up in the past. False accusations. That's what pissed me off. Now, y'all in the chat, have y'all watched episode 2 and episode 3? Let me know if they address Beth and Irene. Because if they don't never address Beth and Irene, I'm going to be over it, to be honest. This not going to be a let's drag David. Now, David needs to be dragged. And if David would have apologized to Tammy and then looked left at Beth and Irene, I would have been all here for it. Oh, they do. Eric, they address it good. Because that's what I need to see. Eric, don't give me no spoilers. But do Irene and Beth take any accountability? I kind of think Irene was trying to, I don't know, sleep, not totally aware of what was going on. Oh, she was trying to sleep and was not totally aware of what was going on. She said it first. I think Beth got the idea from her. Yeah, but Irene is a police officer. Like, she knows the magnitude of her statements. Irene knew that by saying that word against this man on national television, it was going to be a lot bigger than just he needs to get out the house. Yes, I think they do. I can't even remember. Okay. Oh, they barely go into Beth and Irene. Then Tammy did a YouTube recap. It was good. I really am interested in what Tammy has to say, because the way Tammy put it on the table, she made it clear, she made it point blank, and she made it plain that she was not here for that situation. She explained her laughter. She explained why she didn't want her body. She didn't even have to explain that. And another thing, Beth earlier had just did the same thing to somebody else, to Dominic. He was drunk in the bed. He had underwear on. Beth did the exact same thing, pulled the blanket off of him, brought all the ladies in there to come look. Ain't nobody called Beth unsafe, a rapist, none of that shit. See, that's the kind of shit I need addressed. And David, by you not taking the accountability in your part, you make yourself look bad, so to where now you become the messenger nobody wants to hear from. Now your point of view isn't even valid because you can't even take accountability. You just want to be like, but everybody was laughing. It doesn't matter if everybody was laughing. You still did something wrong. Let's move on. I don't want to keep talking about it, and I'm gonna wait to watch the rest of the episodes before I continue to drag. I actually blame Irene more. I do too, because she has more accountability as a member of law enforcement. She know that shit wasn't no rape. She knows she can't go nowhere and arrest nobody for pulling a blanket off of somebody. So Irene knew what the fuck she was doing, and so did Beth. I blame both of them. I blame both. I'm telling you. The most dangerous thing in the world, and if you're a white woman who love my channel, forgive me for saying this, it ain't all of y'all, but the most dangerous thing in the world is white lady tears. When they get to crying and they get to making accusations, people take that shit seriously, and people have lost their lives over the bullshit. Because I guarantee wasn't nobody felt bad for Tammy and her cries and tears in the moment when she was on the ground and it was happening to her. Ain't nobody taking shit seriously to Irene and Beth popped up talking about rape. That wasn't to people didn't take the shit seriously to Irene and Beth said something. Nobody else gave a fuck when Tammy was screaming and hollering. If it was such a rape situation, where was production? Why didn't they step in if they felt it was that egregious? But oh no, Beth and Irene got something to say. Oh, he got to go. And I'm not blaming Tammy for that, because I'm telling you, I feel like 50-year-old Tammy, because Tammy in her 50s now, would have known how to sit down and have a conversation with David the way she did at the homecoming reunion show. 20-some-year-old Tammy probably didn't have the words. She didn't have the words then. So I don't even blame Tammy. She just rolled with Beth and Irene because she was violated. At the moment, she was violated. But you should definitely watch Tammy YouTube page. I didn't know she had a YouTube page. I just thought she did those bonnet things on Instagram. But so, Lord, Catherine, I don't know what VOIFYI mean. I hope this ain't one of them spam people in the chat, because I don't know what that is, and I'm 40 and I don't know what all them acronyms. I know for your information, but I don't know what VOI stands for. So forgive me. But that's all I'm gonna say until I get some more information. Now I'm gonna drag Beth and Irene if they don't address their accountability, if they slide over it. Oh, she got Bonnet Chronicles on YouTube. I thought it was just on Instagram. But I'm definitely gonna check it out because I want to know what Tammy has to say. I'm curious, just real quick, because I ain't gonna hold y'all long because y'all know Survivor and stuff on. I just got back from my work holiday party. That's why I'm a little bit dressed up, got on my little Christmas necklace. So I just really got in the house right before I did this live. But I just want to know in the chat, why do you think, what is the blonde hair white boy's name? Is it Aaron? Jesse? Why do you think those two didn't show up? Because I don't recall them. To me, the person who probably shouldn't have showed up was David, but Aaron. Okay, Aaron. Why do you think they didn't show up? Do you think I can see Aaron maybe being at a place professionally where he doesn't want to just go back in that moment of time? I don't know. But Dominic, I thought was a musician, and I thought entertainers like as much publicity as they can get. I don't know. I really would have liked everyone to come back. Oh, they don't want anything to do with reality TV. I can understand that in your 50s, you might be over it. You ain't trying to go back and rehash. You ain't trying to get your image dragged through the mud again because Twitter is something else. Twitter is something else. I'm sure David getting it. I just, it's just sad. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people in this world. They so busy wanting to be right that they can't have any room for understanding. They have no room for an opposing point of view. They just have to be right. And that's a lack of maturity, David. And hopefully you won't have to learn shit the hard way. I mean, I guess you done learned the shit the hard way in your life. I do feel bad for him losing his entertainment career over this. But after watching the reunion, you kind of don't. So, y'all say Aaron was boring and he thought he was too good for the show. You might be right because I don't remember Aaron being on the show. I do remember he was a college kid who was me, an accountant. He wanted to be a CPA. So I do remember that, but let me tell you, accountants ain't really got nothing. It ain't no fun in the accounting world. So that is kind of boring, but he could have had a personality. I think David's life is real messy today, and a lot probably due to this. Mm, mm, maybe. I mean, is he funny? Is he funny? Because he might have lost some acting opportunities, whatever else he was doing in the entertainment industry. But if you're funny, you can always go on the road and get on somebody's stage and tell a joke. So if you were funny, you could have been out there earning a check. People, and do people care? Do people really care? It's so much other shit. People who have actually raped people, actually done it, and people are still supporting them. Are we really caring about David pulling this blanket off of Tammy 28 years later? Now I give him maybe the first 5 years. I give him the 2000. From 93 to 2000, he probably had a rough time. But after the year 2000, if you funny, he could have made a way. Maybe he ain't funny. Shit, I don't recall none of his jokes. Michelle, you passed the CPA a million years ago, but you hate accounting. I didn't actually sit for the CPA. I said once my son graduated high school, I would go back and study for the CPA exam. And he graduated in 2021, this past May. My heart ain't into it. That's too much work, and I don't want to study for it. It seemed like a headache. I might do it. But I love accounting. That's something I do love. I'm a numbers person. I just left the office Christmas party. Like, I'm the social person in the office. Like, it was my year to plan the Christmas party. But because when you think of an accountant, you think of probably a nerd, somebody who's only into numbers, and they look at the computer balancing books all day, and that's pretty much what we do. But my personality isn't of what you think an accountant should be. Like, I like to be social. So that's probably why I do this YouTube page. But I do love my numbers and I love what I do. You haven't done accounting in a long time. What do you do now? I'm just curious since you said it. What was your pivot out of accounting? You should enjoy yourself, not study. I agree. I agree, Michelle. I done took 18 years to raise a child. I want to have fun. I don't want to be studying no debits, credits, tax laws, all of that cost accounting. I don't want to do. I don't want to do. You said most accountants are not boring. I ain't gonna say that because one of my coworkers might watch this and tell. Most accountants aren't boring. Like, I had a good time at the holiday party. It's just a job. Like, if you're a boring person, you're gonna be boring no matter what your field may be. And I just would say, if you're not into numbers, don't become an accountant, because all you're gonna do is look at spreadsheets all day and balance books. Balance and post, and explain variances. That's it. Commercial real estate for a long time, and now intake and mental health. Well, I'm happy you were able to pivot and find something that you love to do. That's what it's all about. It's never too late. If you feel like you dislike something, you should go for it. That's kind of how I got into YouTube, because I'm not talking about the show no more. I'm sorry, y'all, but that was all it gave. Wait till I finish watching the next 2 episodes. We'll be back on Friday. But my first major in college was communications. I wanted to talk on the radio so bad. I just wanted to be on the radio. That's all I wanted to do. And then I didn't realize how much writing was involved in a communications major. And I hate to write. If you be like, that's the worst thing my boss can tell me to do is to write an SOP or to write up a business process. I hate it. I rather balance 50 million balance sheet accounts before I want to write up any kind of formal document. That's just me. So I wasn't happy with communications. And then I had a college professor who's like, your voice too high pitched. You sound like a chipmunk. Nobody want to listen to you on the radio. And I got kind of sad and discouraged. And so I flipped over into accounting because it was easy to me. But long story short, once YouTube came around and I saw how big YouTube was getting, and I saw how people were doing podcasts, I saw it as a way to always live out your life streams. So no matter what, you can always pivot. If you aren't happy, you can always pivot. You can always take a chance on your dreams. You don't have to feel like you're stuck in a box because I went to college and this is my major and I got to do it. Like, no, you can always do more than one thing at a time, and you can always evolve and dream big and just go for it. So if you never try it, you never know. Like, I don't have the hugest YouTube channel, but this channel gives me so much joy because it's something I always wanted to do. Now, y'all right, that lady was rude. I don't remember her name, but she was an older lady. And what made it so bad, she said it in front of the whole class. Because when you're a radio TV major, you have to go to the radio lab and record all these projects, and you play it in front of the whole class. And she critiques you right there. And when I tell you my heart dropped, that was my last radio class, because I was like, do I sound like a chipmunk? And then I know I have a high-pitched voice, but I was like, hell, I started listening to everybody on YouTube. I'm like, everybody on YouTube has a different voice. Like, you don't have to have some sexy radio voice to talk to people. Just talk. So You just got to have the personality. I saw your YouTube about your communications interests and felt bad at what you're. Thank you. Yeah, she did do that, but life is a journey. And as long as you take a chance, like I could have just continued typing away, balancing my accounts, and never took the chance. And you just never know. You just never know. And this brings me joy. And in a few years, if I grow and become a big YouTuber, great. But if not, right now, it brings me joy. And it gives me something to do in my off time. Michelle, you say you white and obviously have different looks, but oh, you love my BoxyCharm reviews and makeup stuff. Got me interested in all this stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I really got into the makeup because I felt like there was nobody on YouTube in my age bracket doing makeup. Like everybody was young, in their 20s, early 30s. They didn't have the bags under their eyes. They didn't need the color corrector. And I was like, nobody is really doing makeup. And I kind of fell off. I said I was going to do a makeup video this weekend because I got some new Fenty. But only like 2 or 3 people watch those makeup videos. But those videos what really got me started in YouTube because I wanted to be like a 40-year-old makeup influencer. Because I do love makeup. I love makeup, reality TV, and the reality TV competition shows. That's what I love. Makeup, reality TV, and shopping. I love online shopping too. And that's probably why I was on those unboxings of BoxyCharm. But BoxyCharm kind of sucks, and I've been trying to cancel BoxyCharm for the past 2 months, but they keep charging my account. But I end up giving all the stuff away. I have way too much makeup. When I say way too much makeup, I could probably from now to the end of my life not have to buy another eyeshadow palette in life. But I'm all off topic. I'm going to end this because, like I said, I'm about to take off my party outfit. I'm going to go pour me a glass of Stella Rose because I love some good old Stella Rose. And I'm about to watch Survivor. We down to the final 6. Don't tell me. If y'all watch it, please don't tell me nothing about Survivor or the challenge. I'm about to go watch it so we can have a good time tomorrow night with those shows. So the rundown for the weekend is going to be tomorrow is Thursday. Me and Charles will be here to do Survivor. And then I'm going to do the challenge. I believe the last episode of the challenge is next Wednesday. So the trio will be together next Thursday. Friday night is going to be All Stars. And then episode 2 and 3 of this homecoming. And why is Irene getting married on the ship? I thought she was already married. I don't know. But Paramount Plus, I like this homecoming stuff that you're doing with the real world. Let's see who else want to come back and have a little nice reunion because I think this is entertainment. It's, what's the word? Nostalgia. Like it's bringing back my childhood. So I'm into this homecoming. So that's it. Glad to hear what others had to say about the show. Yes, Michelle, I see you in the chat a lot of time. Please come back. I'm definitely going to be back Friday night for homecoming. If you into the competition shows, come back tomorrow night too. But I'm going to end it because another thing, if y'all don't know anything about me, your girl, I love to talk. And I can talk all night. And we talked long enough. And I'm tired and I want some Stella Rose. So y'all have a good night. Come back with me tomorrow night so we can have a good time with the other shows. And I will see y'all later. All right. Bye.